Hello and welcome to another video and podcast from Fantasy Football Scout as we look ahead to the Game Week 5 deadline. It's team news time where we, as ever, get the knowledge of Fantasy Football Scout editor Neale, who has been looking at and watching all the press conferences. So we don't have to, so he can tell us what's the latest injury news and team developments are. My name's Joe. Neale, welcome. How are you?
Good, thank you, Joe. Yeah, better. Less phlegmy than I was last week, so there should be less mutant of the coughing. So I should be good to go.
Okay, well that sounds promising. Okay, so just a reminder before we get on, do press that like button. It does help us out, and do remember to subscribe to our latest videos and podcasts. And do check out latest offers at Fantasy Football Scout. Get access to all the latest tools and gadgets to climb up your mini leagues. And also, we're live again. We were recording last week. We're live again this week. So welcome those joining us in the live chat. Matthew, Rickstar, J77Lag, JM Moore, who's joining us from Wet Lampeter. And everyone's asking, where's Lampeter? Exploring, Thomas Nielsen, Dennis, Rodrev, FPL Glasto, Sam, and many more. Thanks so much for joining us. Let's go with the Merseyside derby first. Okay, what is the latest from Liverpool? We saw ISAK get some minutes in the Champions League midweek. Will he start this week?
He might. Slot didn't explicitly rule out that possibility, but I think it's unlikely. First of all, after that midweek game, he said that he's not likely to get 90 minutes again this weekend. And then this afternoon, or this morning rather, while he didn't say that ISAK wouldn't start, he did say that he's felt his body more maybe than ever because of his 60 minutes run out. And given the short turnaround, I think it's, like 60 odd hours between games. I think it's going to be Ekitike up top and then ISAK coming off the bench.
Okay.
He was asked about playing the two of them together and said it was a possibility at some point. Ekitike can play off the left, slightly differently to Gakpo. But he said he's got so many options up there that there's a number of different permutations. But I think it will be Ekitike starting, ISAK coming on as a sub. Nothing on the injury front really. Jones, who was the only flagged senior player, he is back available.
Okay, right, Joe. And as for Everton, what's the latest there?
Yeah, Moyes playing it a bit cool, I think. He was coy on the two injured players they've got, Mikalenko and Branthwaite. They were the only two named concerns anyway, because there are some knocks within the camp, according to Moyes. He didn't elaborate on who that was. He says Branthwaite and Mikalenko are making progress, and we'll see. He did say last week that Branthwaite was a few weeks away, so I think he's the less likely of the two. But like Mikalenko, we don't know how seriously injured he is. Moyes talked quite positively of him before Game Week 4, and he didn't feature, so a bit of uncertainty there. But they're the only two injuries that we are aware of.
Okay, some more people have joined us in the live chat. Mr. JW, Jammer, Gamalil Giri, Ox Skyway, Richards, FPL Hippie from Blue Sky, and Jack Brokenshire, who joins us from outside his son's school in Maidstone. Okay, let's move on to Brighton against Tottenham. Okay, what's the latest from Brighton? How are they geared up for this?
Yep, they are sort of mixed news really on the injury front. They did get two last weekend, two fresh ones. Elwood's the more serious of the two. He's done ankle ligament damage and he's going to be out for a longer period. So he joins Webster and March on the injury list. De Kuyper's not quite so badly hurt. He collided with the advertising hoardings. He was helped on his way by Semenyo. But he says he's not that badly hurt and he might be available for the game. However, he did then go on to talk about Kadioglu marking Mohamed Kudus this weekend. So that sounds like he's going to start at left back.
Okay.
Diego Gomez is fine after illness. Mats Wiefer is fine after his little knee issue. So they're both available.
Okay, Wiefer could play right back maybe, but it might be Veltman again. We don't know. Okay, and as for Spurs, what's the latest from Spurs, from Thomas Frank?
Yep. Positive-ish news on Solanke, and what's not good news if you're a Richarlison owner. He is back on the grass, but he won't be involved this weekend or in the League Cup match next week. So it's Game Week 6 comeback for him, I think it looks like. That's against Wolves. He's trained the last 3 or 4 days, and he's progressing slowly, according to Thomas Frank. Kota Takai as well, the young defender. He's training with the team as of next Monday.
Okay.
So I think that just leaves the longer term ones out. That's Dragosin,
Hmm.
Madison, Kulisevsky, and there's Basuma as well, but I think he's just surplus to requirements.
Okay. And as for okay, then let's go for Burnley, Nottingham Forest next. What's the latest there?
Yeah, Burnley, one of four press conferences we had yesterday. Nothing new on the injury front. And Parker said they might get a few injured bodies back as well. One of them is Brune Larson. He was only out for a short period of time. I think he had a knock to his heel, but he has returned to training this week. Parker says he's all right and should be in the squad against who are they playing? Burnley, Nottingham Forest.
Okay.
I'd-
I've just put a
yeah,
Brighton shirt, a Brighton scarf on, by the way, just because just getting a message that my stripy shirt is messing with the camera, messing with people's minds.
is it causing the yeah?
So I'm covering,
People headaches.
I'm covering up a bit, even though it's really hot here. Such
Yeah,
sacrifice.
don't take
I
your shirt
make.
off, whatever you do, Joe.
No,
You'll
I'm not
have
going to take the shirt off. I mean, that would be more comfortable for me,
to put that behind the paywall.
but less comfortable for you. Okay, yeah. So Burnley there, Nottingham Forest as
Yeah,
well.
there's still a bit more on Burnley as well.
Okay.
Yeah, Brune Larson is the most obvious returnee. Jordan Bayer and Connor Roberts have been back on the grass, and maybe too soon for them. I'm doing his long term as well. They will have to make one change because Ugochukwu, he was sent off in the closing stages of that Liverpool game.
Okay.
So they'll have to make a switch in midfield.
Right, yeah. All right, okay, let's go for Nottingham Forest then. Now, Murillo is in a lot of teams. Will he make this game?
Yeah, it sounded more positive during the week when Postecoglou said he was progressing well. But this afternoon, he's sort of throwing a bit more doubt on it. And he literally used the word doubt, actually. Um, when talking about Murillo, just trying to dredge up the quote here. Where's it going? I've lost it somewhere. Yeah, 2 seconds. Here we go. He said, yeah, he's still a doubt. He did some individual work today.
Mm-hmm.
So they're going to give him a little bit more time. And he still says he's a little bit sore. So it sounds like whether he can play through the pain barrier. Because he says if he doesn't make tomorrow, he'll be back for Wednesday, next Wednesday's match. So still some concern there. Otherwise, though, everyone's okay, apart from the two previous injuries that we were aware of. So that's Ola Aina, who was out for around 3 months, and Dominguez, who's been out for the best part of this year. He should be integrated into training next week.
Okay.
So he's another option in central midfield. And one other line of note from the team news, Zinchenko is available because he couldn't feature last weekend for ineligibility reasons.
Okay, let's move on to West Ham against Crystal Palace. We'll go with the home side first, but I know there is some big news, particularly if you are a fan of Crystal Palace keeping a clean sheet in their injury development. So let's go with West Ham first.
Yeah, pretty quiet from West Ham. One new suspension. Thomas Souček was sent off the game before, so he begins a 3-match ban. Wan-Bissaka still out as well with a stomach issue. But other than that, everyone's fine. Wilson and Fulkrug, they've had a full week of training. They had slight issues going into last weekend and were on the bench, but they've trained fully this week.
Okay, right, let's move on to Crystal Palace then. So there's some news there around their injuries.
There is, yeah, quite a lot to get through here. Two returnees, Eddie Nketiah and Adam Wharton. So Wharton, Glasner thinks is fit enough to go straight back into the team. Nketiah not so because he has been out, not just for the last, 6 weeks, but also missed a bit of pre-season as well. So he'll probably eat into Mateta's minutes a little bit off the bench, but no, he's not going to challenge him for a start yet. Riyad Decoria are out long term. Ismail Assar still out as well, but he will return to training on Sunday, so that's good if you've kept him, and he should be back in contention from game week 6. One new addition to the injury list. It's not going to affect anyone's FPL teams. Walter Benitez, who's the backup goalkeeper, he's dislocated his finger, so he will be out of this game week.
Yeah, I was reading something about Fantasy Football Scout that the manager was talking about how tired Mateta is.
Yeah.
And that he was quite fatigued midweek. I mean, is that an indication? I mean, with Nketiah back, good timing as well. But is there any indication that Mateta may either be benched for this one or at least will get reduced minutes?
I doubt very much he'll be benched for this one. I think Nketiah will possibly come on and maybe he's eating into Mateta's minutes a little bit. And funnily enough, I've got Sky Sports paused right at that question on
Oh,
Mateta's fatigue. So I'll once I'm off this,
okay.
once this video, I'll transcribe what Glasner said.
Hmm.
But I very much doubt that he's going to be on the bench for this one. He may sort of come off after 75, 80, but Nketiah's not ready to start yet.
Right, yeah. Okay, let's move on to Wolves against Leeds. So, yeah, big news up top for Wolves as well.
Yeah, I've got Strand Larson on my team, and I'm deliberating whether to start him or not because whilst he has trained, which is good news, Thursday was his first session, and Pereira said this afternoon that he's not going to last a full game. Um, he said, "I hope tomorrow he can help us, not for the 90 minutes, but for some period in the game." So that might be a bench duty and coming on late in the day. Could be a start and then an early withdrawal. It sounded more like a substitute role because he said at some period in the game. So, but he should get minutes anyway. That's a good thing.
Yep.
He's back for this favourable fixture run. I haven't actually heard any more team news on the Wolves front. I will delve more into that after this, but I don't think there were many concerns. I think whoever was nursing need discomfort, and that was pretty much it.
Okay. And as for Leeds, what's the latest there?
Actually, I just remembered Jose Asar was absent last weekend, but he was only ill. I think
Okay,
he's
right.
all right.
Fair enough.
Leeds, yes, Leeds. This was another one of the press conferences from yesterday. Good news if you're a Darlow owner and you're thinking about bench boosting him this week or even just starting him. He should start again between the posts because Lucas Perry is still out.
Hmm.
They should have a better idea after this match as to whether Perry's going to be available thereafter. Major doubts over Daniel James and Willie Nonto with a abdominal injury and a calf injury respectively. So late calls for both of them, but Fark was kind of intimating that they might miss out. Joel Pirro's back in contention, however. He had a calf injury last weekend, but he's back
Right,
in
yeah.
contention.
Okay, let's move on to Manchester United against Chelsea. So, yeah, what's the latest there from Manchester United?
A double boost, much needed as well after last week's performance. Matthias Cunha and Mason Mount are back in the squad for the Chelsea game. So that's only two players out. Diogo Dalot, he's still sidelined, and Lissandro Martinez as well. He was pictured jogging in midweek, but he's still got quite some way to go. He's
Okay.
been out for a long, long time.
Okay, and as for Chelsea as well, yeah, I mean, obviously they've got an embarrassment of riches in their squad, but yeah, what's the latest?
We start with Palmer because he completed 90 minutes and not defeated Bayern Munich, but he seemed to be nursing his groin towards the end. Maresca was asked after full time in that match, and he said he thinks he's okay, and then he just reiterated that this afternoon.
Okay,
He said Cole is okay.
yeah,
Um, they haven't actually trained yet since Munich. They flew back yesterday, and they're going to have a session after Maresca's press conference. So he's going to find out more about the players and what condition they're in. What we do know is that Estevau's back from illness. He was on the bench in Germany. He missed out in game week 4. Colwell, Asugu, and Delap, they're all out, medium to long term injured. Mudryk suspended as well. Badiashile and Lavia, they return to training over the national break in some capacity, but they haven't featured competitively yet. There was a question about Mark Gio as well, who a lot of people might still own
me.
on their benches. Yeah, have you still got him?
Yeah, he's still there.
He's we thought he might be compete for minutes at Sunderland by now, didn't we? But he's possibly in the frame at Chelsea at least. He was asked about Maresca was asked about him this afternoon or this morning rather, because he's not been used yet since his recall. He was on the bench against Munich. He wasn't in the squad last weekend. But Maresca said the reason why he's back is because the intention is to use him. He did say he needs to do things better and improve on things, but for sure we're going to use him. So that might come in. I was going to say the EFL Cup, but he can't play that.
No.
He can't play that because he's cup tied. Tom reminded me of that at work. So
Right.
he might get some minutes at some point, but I don't think he's going to start just
Oh,
yet.
yeah. I mean, I'd like to offload him. I still can't get another Chelsea player in because
Right, yeah.
I had to I had to get rid of a Chelsea player last week. I can't. Anyway, that's me. Any more from Chelsea before we move on?
Well, that's pretty much it, Joe.
Okay. Let's have a look. Yeah, Fulham against Brentford. So, yeah, Fulham, this is usually really short, isn't it? Because they've got the most amazing physios in the country.
Yeah. Yeah, he's a 125 million pound physio if there was such a thing. No serious concerns. Silva reported some knocks. I think Alex Iwobi was one of those affected, but he is trained,
Okay.
and Fulham's going to assess his reaction to that training session. Robinson, who I don't think has started a game yet since his long-term knee injury. Silva said that they're taking time with him still because he's been out for so long, but he will get more minutes either this weekend or in the Carabao Cup next week.
Okay, and as for Brentford as well.
Yep, I think completing a lot from yesterday's presses. The weekly medical bulletin confirmed that Christopher Ayer was fine after coming off as a precaution in midweek. Henderson, Pinnock, Igor Thiago, they weren't involved in that cup game against Villa, but nothing to worry about there. They're just rested. They're all available for selection. So that only leaves 2 players on the injury list, and even those 2 are back on the grass. Gustavo Nunes and Paris Magoma.
Okay, right here. Let's move on to Bournemouth against Newcastle. Your side. What's the latest for Bournemouth as they prepare to host a new entry into the Champions League team roster for this season?
Fear for this one. We're not got a good record against Bournemouth, and such a high octane side as them going up against a team that played against Barcelona less than 72 hours earlier. I do fancy Bournemouth for this one. Good news for Bournemouth on the injury front. Diakite and Christie, who they both missed out in game week 4. Christie's definitely going to be available, and Diakite is expected to be available. He says, Areola said he's not 100%, but he has trained. He expects him to feature. So that only leaves 2 injuries, Adam Smith and Enis Udal.
Okay. As for Newcastle, what's the latest there? Have they survived their Barcelona game?
Yeah, just with some cost. We didn't get a Howe press conference this morning because this was a Thursday night Champions League game, a rarity really. So Howe did his game week 5 presser straight after the game, and it was very, very short on TV simply because he had another chance to assess anybody yet. He was just going off what the doctors were saying on the pitch. So Fabian Schär came off with a head injury. He took a blow, carried on, and then clearly wasn't right, and he came off. So there's obviously a risk of possible concussion there. Trippier, not sure exactly what the problem is. It's reported as a knock, but I'm not sure if that's true or not. So obviously they're both concerns. Fabian Schär, if it's concussion, he's going to be out for not just this one, but the game week 6 as well. We got a timeline on Johan Visser. He's going to be out until after the October break. Same as Jacob Ramsey. So game week 8 is a possibility for those 2. Anthony Gordon, he played last night, but he is suspended domestically. This is the final game of his 3-match ban. And he'll be available after that. And then a little bit on Walter Mata, who was obviously our big money signing. He was on the bench against Barcelona, and Howe was just explaining that he was managing him because he cramped up after like half an hour against Wolves last weekend. So he was preserved and on the bench, but I expect him to start this weekend.
Okay. Before we move on, Thomas in the chat is asking about predicted lineups. Have a look at Fantasy Football Scout. All the predicted lineups are there. Neale is working on them. Anything that hasn't been updated will be updated during the day. But this is like fresh from the press conferences. Most of the press conferences finished about an hour or 2 ago. So this is like the latest from there. We can't get all of the graphics in time for this. So go and have a look at Fantasy Football Scout for all of those predicted lineups there. Okay, let's move on to Sunderland against the much maligned Aston Villa, who incredibly have not scored. I think they're the only team not to score in the whole of the 7 divisions. That's going Yeovil deep. No, beyond. That's going beyond Yeovil deep. That's going Taunton deep.
South Shields deep, yeah.
Yeah. So this is okay. Let's start with Sunderland first.
Yeah, they are getting players back slowly but surely. So Dan Ballard, of course, was a bit of an early season bandwagon. He's back or should be available. He's trained this week. He's had a groin injury and been out for the best part of a month. So he should be on the bench. Enzo Lafay, he's only been out for 1 game week. He should be available too. Luke Nyan, he's not quite ready. There was hopes he would be available for the Aston Villa game, but another 1 to 2 weeks for him. Mundell, Serkin and Hjelde, they're still out. And we didn't get an update on Alicia, who's I think he's on a similar schedule to O'Neill, but sounds like he's still out as well.
Okay, and as for Aston Villa there, I guess also any injury developments, but has he given any indication that they can do something like score?
Yeah, no matter what competition of players he puts together, doesn't seem to be working at all, does it? They were very poor against
Mm.
Everton last weekend. Injury wise, I don't think much has changed. They did get Kamara back in midweek,
Hmm.
so he's available. Tielemans, he picked up an injury last weekend and he was ruled out ahead of that Brentford game on Tuesday. He's going to be out for 1 to 2 weeks, so not a serious problem. Barkley, Garcia, Onana, they're all still sidelined. Lindelof was out of that game against Brentford on Tuesday with a small injury, but I think Emery hopes he'll recover for the Sunderland game.
Okay, and final match, Arsenal against Man City. Certainly not,
Hmm.
last, but certainly not least. This is a big match. Lots of coverage of people's teams. Haaland's knocking around, Jokeres, and etc. etc. So, what's the latest with Arsenal as well? Saw Saliba on the bench midweek. So, anything to be said about that and elsewhere from Arsenal.
There is, yeah. We'll start with Saliba. He was absent last weekend against Nottingham Forest. He had trained the day before that, but Arteta just didn't risk him. And then, as you say, there he was on the bench, unused in Bilbao. And Arteta said he will push for a start, but that they will decide on the starting 11 tomorrow. I suspect he probably will because he's got more seniority. Mascara's been absolutely excellent since he came in, but Saliba's got that knowledge of Haaland, I think, and
Yeah.
seniority. So I suspect he might come back in. Elsewhere, we know obviously Havertz and Jesus are out. Saka, White, and Odegaard, so they were all missing for the Bilbao game, and Arteta wouldn't rule them in or out for this one,
Ooh.
predictably. They haven't done any work this week. It should be said. They haven't trained. Not that Arsenal's had many training sessions anyway because of the Champions League. And he said if there is a chance for Sunday, it will be after tomorrow's sessions because they haven't done anything yet. So
Okay.
obviously some significant doubts around those three. There was clarity at least over Gyökeres and Marino. They suffered head injuries in the match in midweek, but they are available. They are fine. Just superficial wounds and no concussion.
Okay, and what shape are Man City in for this?
Yeah, we're not entirely sure because much like how Pep did his press conference last night and then it was embargoed till this afternoon, there wasn't any questions about team news. We're not expecting to see four players, so that's Marmoush, Aitnori, Kovacic, and Cherky. Cherky's definitely out. He's out until October. Kovacic is coming. He's making his way back from a longer term injury, so he won't be involved. I don't think. Aitnori and Marmoush. We haven't really got official timelines on those. I have seen suggestions that they'll be out until October, but that is not confirmed, and we didn't get any clarification from Pep. I will say that they weren't seen in training before that Napoli game last
Okay.
night, so that does sound very doubtful. John Stones was back on the grass ahead of that Napoli game. He didn't feature yesterday, but he was training, so he's a possibility to return. And the only real question of team news relevance to Pep was about Rodri, about whether he can go again, because he started twice already this week. I think he was taken off after about an hour yesterday. Pep did sort of hint that he hasn't been feeling 100% in training, but he's been pushing through it to play. And again, they will make a decision tomorrow on how he feels for Arsenal. But given his importance, you'd think he would start in that one.
Okay, I'll try and round up most of the things there. Yeah, lots in the available column. It's sort of a week where people are coming back from injury. They may or may not start, but they're certainly available. Thiago at Brentford there, Aya as well, Jordan Henderson, Pinnock. This is pretty good for them. Weaver should be back. Wharton's back for Palace, and as Nketiah. So that may eat into Mateta's minutes. Wobie's fine for Fulham. Cunha and Mount are back for Manchester United. Strand Larsen's back. That's going to be handy for people who didn't want to make a transfer who own him. Christie will be back for Bournemouth. Jokeres and Marino are fine after their mild knocks to midweek. Ballard's the Game Week 1 hero, Ballard and Lafitte. They're back as well. And Kamara for Aston Villa. All fine. Mikalenko and Branthwaite still questionable. Trippier and Cher as well. Are they questionable to start? To Kuiper has got a knock. Should be okay, but may not be started. Kadioglu might be playing there. The manager mentioned him to Mark Kudos. Murillo is a knock. He's still a doubt. Lindelof as well could be back, but probably not. Major doubts, James and Nonto are Leeds, Saka, White and Odegaard. They moved from the outs to the major doubts because they're not being fully ruled out. They are back in some kind of sort of training, but a modified training. So not full team yet. So it's unlikely, very unlikely that they're going to get minutes, but you never know. Out, Wan-Bissaka's out, Souček is suspended, Perry's out, so Darlow's going to carry on in goal for Leeds. Solanke is out for this one, but he's back in training, so that won't be long before he'll be available. Dallow is out still for Manchester United. And Tielemans is going to miss this one with a calf problem there. I think we've got everything. Yeah.
I think so, Joe. Yeah, one slight bit of a breaking news-ish. Fabian Schär apparently has posted on his Instagram saying that he's going to miss the next few games, so it sounds like concussion.
Oh, okay, right, yeah, okay, that is potential big news, especially as you said, Newcastle don't have a great track record against Bournemouth. Okay, thanks a lot for that. Thanks for everyone who's joining us in the live chat. Good luck with the game week. Good luck everyone watching and listening. We'll see you again next week. Take care. See you soon.
Bye for now.